Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. Fire investigators are spending the day looking into overnight fires at 3 houses in Youngstown. Fire officials say each of those fires appears suspicious. New at noon, Fire Chief John O'Neill says this is part of a much bigger problem in Youngstown. A long night for firefighters wore on into the morning. It all started with 3 fires in just over an hour. The first at 9:25 p.m. on Byron Street on the city's east side. Firefighters say they'd already been in that area once this week.
And it was right next to a fire that they had the previous night.
Then at 10:12, a call for another fire, this one on Ellenwood on the south side. If this house looks familiar, that's because it was on fire a week ago, just a day after someone shot it up. Minutes later at 10:30 and just
a little bit after 4, it came in again, and it was burning heavily in the front there.
That's right, the same house on Marion up in flames a second time overnight. Firefighters said this time the fire was in a different place.
Just common sense says, it wasn't a rekindle, it was in a totally different spot in the house.
And this time the fire was closer to the home next door, which had someone living inside.
It really came close to catching the occupied house next door on fire. So I think what people don't take into account, bad people who light fires, is how far is it going to go and how fast? Firefighters managed to keep that home from catching fire, but Chief O'Neill says this is part of a much bigger problem with vacant homes. There's just so many of them throughout the city. There's thousands of them, so just can't get them knocked down fast enough to stop this from happening.
And when occupied homes are affected, it begins a vicious cycle.
A lot of people don't have homeowners insurance, and if they don't, then we have another problem. They'll probably have to leave that home too.
For now, investigators will focus on finding the cause of these fires, and if they are arson, figuring out who sent them. The chief says if neighbors saw someone around any of the homes last night about the time the fire started, give police a call.